New Zealand can be traced back to early last century. Most came as miners. Appo Hocton, who came in 1842, did not. Eric Chung caught up with some of his descendants and uncovered a wonderful story.
Nelson is widely known for its vibrant art scene. But did you know Nelson was also the home of the first ever naturalized Chinese in New Zealand? One day in 1842, a Cantonese, 23-year-old Wong Appo Hocton, a steward on the immigrant ship Thomas Harrison, jumped ship and swam to Nelson. For the first 4 years, Appo worked as a domestic servant. After that, he moved on to run his own business. In 1846 census, Appo Hocton was documented as Appo Hocton, a carter running a bullock team. Apparently, his carting business played an active part in delivering material to build Trafalgar Street, the main street of Nelson. Soon, Appo diversified into building cottages. There are a few of his cottages still around. So this is one of the cottages Appo built.
Yes, it certainly is, Eric. One of several he built around here. These little tiny cottages with a steep roof, as you can see. There's one here and there's one behind us, and there's one about 50 yards on down the road. But that's not the only cottages he built around here. Across the road he built several more. So he was quite an astute young man to have obtained and built these buildings, you know, way back over a century ago. He built one for himself, of course, because he got married twice and he lived in them. One for himself, and the others, we presume, that he built just to, probably as an income. Here's the Hocton scrapbook.
Diana's father is Appo's grandson. She and her sisters, Nancy Hill and Claire Gibbons, can tell you quite a few stories about Appo. However, they did not get to know their great-grandfather through family sources. Most of their knowledge was acquired through research.
We knew very little. I remember my grandmother and my mother talking about him as being a Tartar, and I wanted to know more, but there was nothing more to be told.
Did you ask your mother or your grandmother?
I did. I said, what is a Tartar? You know, but we're exactly what village did he come from? But, oh no, that's all we know. That's all we know, but they knew a lot more.
I didn't realise that I had Chinese blood in me until probably maybe 20 or 21, 22. It was all sort of very hush-hush. I can't say it was tending on the shameful side, but it was something that you didn't actually speak about.
I was quite close to my dad, and he, as we've said before, he very rarely spoke of his grandfather. But, you know, he told me little things. I can't think exactly what at the moment, but he, I just feel that perhaps I knew a bit more than my sisters.
Though the family did not talk much of Appo, his story was noticed and recorded in several sources nonetheless. In nearby Collingwood goldfields, there is Appo's Flat and Appo's Creek. It is believed that Appo struck gold in these areas. After that, in 1876, he bought 485 acres in Dovedale and lived there until he passed away at the age of 103. Appo had one son from a first marriage and two sons and a daughter from the second. Although Appo's ethnic background was seldom discussed, perhaps the Chineseness of the family is still here.
The experience that brought home to me my Chinese ancestry and made me feel Chinese, at least part Chinese, was when I was in Singapore. And my father was dead by this time, and I would get into a bus and I would think that's my father driving the bus, and it kind of shook me, but in a very nice way. And then I would be walking behind a Chinese in the street, and I would again think that's my uncle or my father, and it was a lovely feeling. It was like, these are my people.
I must admit, when I first arrived in Hong Kong, I was frightened. There were so many people. And I felt, I don't think I'll be able to stay here. But after the first night, we went out into the street. I just felt at home.
What does it mean to you having a Chinese great-grandfather? Did it make your life different in any way?
Not one little bit. I mean, I certainly didn't hide it, like I think some people might hide that they had Chinese blood, but I like to advertise it to the whole world. I was a bit like that. I find I'm very, very proud. It's just something different. Yes.
Did anyone challenge you when you tell them that I have Chinese blood in me?
No, that they never ever challenged me. They just look at me and think, oh yes, you might have those high cheekbones. They can sort of see a little bit of a likeness in there, but never ever challenged me, no, no.
Appo Hocton was the first Chinese to be naturalized in 1852. Most people know what an architect or an interior designer does, but what about a spatial designer?